Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping right into a massive question. Horticulture farming. Is it an economic boom or an absolute environmental bust? We're talking about one of the most explosive, high-stakes shifts happening on our planet right now. Seriously, the rise of horticulture is completely rewiring our food systems, our economies, and, well, the actual ground we walk on. It's a huge global dilemma. Which brings us to the central mystery we're unpacking today. Will horticulture heal or hurt our world? You see, we're right in the middle of this massive transition away from traditional staple grains, stuff like wheat and rice, and moving toward high-value crops. And honestly, this isn't just some minor agricultural update. It's fundamentally reshaping the global economy and the environmental health of our entire planet. By the end of this explainer, we're going to figure out exactly what this means for you and me. So to really grasp the scale of this, let's nail down what we're actually looking at. Basically, horticulture is the intensive cultivation of high-value plants. Think about it like this. Growing your traditional broad-acre field crops is a lot like highway driving. It's fast, it covers massive ground, but it's super resource-heavy and pretty uniform. Horticulture, that's more like a really dense, carefully planned urban cycling lane. It operates on a much smaller scale, but it requires incredibly specialized, intensive management to pull off those high-value yields. Okay, let's dive into this because the industry spans way beyond a simple backyard garden. We're talking about a multi-trillion-dollar global enterprise here. It covers the whole shebang, from pomology, which is your fruit nut farming, to culture, which handles the veggies sitting in your kitchen right now. And then you've got floriculture. That's the exploding flower and ornamental plant sector. Plus massive plantation crops like tea and coffee and high-tech polyhouse farming. The global footprint here is literally staggering. Just look at something as straightforward as an apple orchard using drip irrigation. It is an absolute powerhouse for wealth generation. Actually, looking at the data, we're seeing farmers literally doubling their incomes, sometimes making way more per hectare, just by swapping out low-priced cereals for these exact types of high-value orchards. It's a real game changer for them. To kind of ground this massive global trend, let's look at a real person. Take Shri Prabhat Das, a 40-year-old farmer from Assam in India. He completely transformed his livelihood by pivoting away from those traditional field crops and jumping into floriculture. By growing flowers, specifically tissue zerberas and tuberoses, he boosted his annual earnings to between 1.5 and 2 lakh rupees. It's just a great relatable story showing how shifting to high-value crops doesn't just change the soil, it completely renews a farmer's confidence and totally elevates their economic standing. And that brilliantly illustrates the sheer economic gravity of this whole boom. 367.72 million tons. Yes, you heard that right. That is India's staggering horticulture production estimate for the 2024 to 2025 period. When individual farmers make the switch, those personal success stories compound into these massive national statistics, turning horticulture into an absolute economic engine. The data really shows exactly how wild this growth has been over the last decade. Get this, from 2014 to 2024, fruit production in India jumped by 30%, and vegetable production shot up by 22%. It's these massive multi-year jumps that have officially cemented India's position as the world's second-largest producer of fruits and vegetables. No small feat, right? Now, this kind of explosive growth doesn't just happen in a vacuum. Massive government subsidies and structural support are actively throwing fuel on the fire. Through government initiatives like the Mission for Integrated Development of Horticulture, or MIDH, we're seeing the rollout of 58 centers of excellence and things like the Clean Plant program. These state-backed frameworks provide the infrastructure, the disease-free planting materials, and the post-harvest management facilities needed to keep the whole industry expanding at this breakneck pace. But as we dig a little deeper, we hit a darker, hidden twist behind all this economic success and these record-breaking harvest numbers. The reality is, this agricultural boom is placing a massive, totally unprecedented drain on our planetary resources. It's a really complex environmental trade-off. On the plus side, perennial orchards are fantastic at carbon sequestration, and precision drip irrigation makes water use highly efficient. But they come at a severe cost. Certain crops cause extreme water stress in areas that are already super dry. And those greenhouses and polyhouses driving up the yields, they're generating a mounting wave of massive plastic pollution. So we're looking at a very delicate, highly contested balancing act. So the crucial point is captured in this single alarming number, 70. Global agricultural pesticide use has surged by a massive 70% since the year 2000. To squeeze the maximum yields out of these high-value, super-sensitive crops, conventional horticulture has leaned heavily, heavily, on chemical interventions. And that's raising some serious red flags about soil degradation, polluted rivers, and damaged local ecosystems. And while the vast arrays of fruits, veggies, and aromatic flowers we see might look incredibly vibrant and healthy, they actually hide a growing geopolitical tension. Think about it. These lucrative crops are incredibly thirsty. When a country exports these high-value items, they're effectively exporting the precious, scarce local water that was used to grow them. It literally turns international agricultural trade into this intricate, super high-stakes game of water geopolitics. Now, to tackle this massive resource strain, the industry is launching what is essentially a technology rescue mission. Modern horticulture is turning into a high-tech frontier. We're talking drones mapping out field stress, AI predicting crop yields, Internet of Things sensors wirelessly monitoring soil moisture, and even hydroponic vertical farms that grow food entirely without soil. This is Agriculture 4.0, folks. There's a brilliant insight from researchers at Clemson University that hits the nail right on the head. They note that by integrating these IoT sensors and autonomous machines, technology gives farmers real-time insights and data-driven decision-making power. Basically, it's turning farming from an unpredictable guessing game where you just cross your fingers and watch the weather into precise, highly optimized data science. But looking at it impartially, we have to examine both sides of the coin. While all this tech efficiency definitely boosts yields, slashes water waste, and cuts down on chemical use, there is a very real danger of a tech divide. These advanced sensors and robotic systems, they are incredibly expensive. There is a serious risk here that corporate monopolies could completely dominate the market, effectively pricing out poorer smallholder farmers, which would create a deeply unequal two-tiered agricultural system. So, where do we go from here? How do we build a roadmap to a more balanced future? Well, to merge wealth generation with ecological health, experts are pointing us toward a few key sustainable pathways. By embracing organic horticulture, rolling out integrated pest management to minimize those harsh chemicals, and running our smart irrigation on solar energy, climate-smart agriculture really does offer a way to mitigate these massive risks, all while still feeding our booming global population. Which leaves us with a final, provocative question. Will the blooms of promise wither without the care they demand? The rise of horticulture is literally reshaping what's on your dinner plate, how the world's water is distributed, and who holds the economic power in rural communities. The next time you buy a crisp apple or a nice bouquet of flowers, remember, you are participating in this massive, deeply complex system. It has been absolutely fascinating exploring the high-stakes world of horticulture with you all today. Keep questioning where your food comes from, and we'll catch you in the next explainer.